Do we have people in the hall? Good afternoon. Are we excited to get this started? No, that won't cut it today. Are we excited to get this ceremony started? Yes. Thank you very much. What an amazing attendance. This is very beautiful. Ladies and gents, my name is Ndize Onshtaina, a fifth-year medical student in Rwanda, and passionate about family planning and reproductive health. Privileged to be your MC this afternoon. Thank you. Pour ceux qui parlent français, je m'appelle Ndize Onshtaina, je suis étudiante en médecine, et j'aimerais bien vous dire qu'il y a des casques de traduction disponibles pour ceux qui parlent français. Canal 2 sera disponible pour la traduction. And for those using English, Channel 1 is going to be what you will use for translation. It is an absolute pleasure for me to welcome you to the 5th ICFP opening ceremony. Welcome to the country of 1,000 hills, smiles, and solutions. Murakaza neza. Murakaza neza mu Rwagasabo, soyez tous les bienvenus. While we wait for our guest of honor to arrive, feel free to introduce yourselves to those next to you. You might be seated next to a future mentor, future business partner, or who knows, just a friend you've been looking for. We will begin very shortly. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mwiriwe. I mean, some of you have been in Rwanda for 2 days now, so Mwiriwe. One more time, Mwiriwe. That's very nice. By the time you go back, you'll be speaking fluently Kinyarwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I'm announcing the arrival of today's guest of honor, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Rwanda, Dr. Edouard Ngirente. Please rise as we welcome him. Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente, our guest of honor, Your Excellency Mrs. Martine Moïse, First Lady of Haiti, Your Excellency Mrs. Jeannette Kagame, First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda and Imbuto Foundation Chairperson, distinguished guests, all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And welcome to the 5th ICFP opening ceremony. Earlier today, someone said that young people are taking over. Well, yes, we are. My name is Ndize Anshtaina, a fifth-year medical student. I'm 24, passionate about family planning, and grateful to be your MC this afternoon. Thank you. This year, Rwanda has been chosen to host the 5th International Conference on Family Planning, the largest scientific conference on reproductive health and family planning, a movement aiming at availing modern contraceptives to 120 million women by 2020. Assembled here are 1,000 delegates and participants from across the globe. Isn't that exciting? Is that exciting? Thank you. Without further ado, I'm delighted to commence this opening ceremony with a remark from the Rwanda's Minister of Health, Honorable Dr. Diane Gashumba. Honorable, you're welcome.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Haiti, Her Royal Highness Princess of Jordan, distinguished guests, dear friends from all over the world, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I warmly welcome all of you to Rwanda and to the 5th International Conference on Family Planning. I would like first of all to thank the organizers of this conference for bringing it to our lovely country. Thank you very much. In our culture, receiving over 3,700 guests throughout the world gives us immense pride. We deeply recognize and appreciate that you have traveled from far away to be here with us today. It is a great honor to have you joining us to this opening. The government of Rwanda, in particular the health sector, find this conference as a huge opportunity to partner with each of you in exploring how to better integrate family planning into maternal and child health services in Rwanda. If we can manage to increase our contraceptive rate as we did in the past decade through harnessing the power of our integrated health system and collaborative efforts, we can certainly respond to the call from the 19% of Rwandan women who, in our demographic health survey 2015, have declared a want for family planning, but an inability to access such services. Among other partners, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has really supported us when they have contributed greatly in the completion of the primary healthcare vital signs profile that was recently published in Astana. Equally, the Mobile Health for Reproductive Health platform, initiated by the First Lady's Foundation, Imbuto Foundation, in collaboration with the Minister of Health and the UNFPA, has helped to address the gap in access to sexual reproductive health information for our youth. And this platform that is serving 100,000 young people needs to be expanded. We greatly appreciate the huge support provided to the government of Rwanda across sectors, and I have no doubt that this conference will reinforce our partnership to push further the agenda of family planning and address existing gaps. Right Honorable Prime Minister, Your Excellency, First Lady, distinguished guests, last Saturday we held a very informative and productive pre-conference with youth, with 600 youths coming from all over the world, and I was very impressed by how committed were these young people to contributing in addressing the shortfalls associated to reproductive health. I have learned a lot from their respective countries, and they asked us a lot of questions. J'ai essayé de me déguiser en jeune pour pas qu'ils me reconnaissent, mais j'ai échoué. Ils m'ont posé un tas de questions. Je me suis retrouvée submergée par un flot de questions. Ils voulaient principalement savoir comment le Rwanda a réussi à surpasser les ténèbres d'après le génocide et à faire de grands pas en avant dans le secteur de la santé, mais dans beaucoup d'autres secteurs. Ils voulaient particulièrement savoir comment le leadership du Rwanda a réussi à émerger des ténèbres du génocide et à éliminer totalement l'injustice, les injustices qui constituent l'inégalité du genre dans certains pays. Honorable Prime Minister, je n'ai pas voulu répondre à toutes les questions qui m'ont été posées. Je les ai laissées expressément sur leur soif parce que je savais que vous aviez accepté d'honorer de votre présence cette belle conférence. Et c'est sur ce que l'honneur m'échoit de vous passer la parole pour que vous veniez adresser les participants. Merci.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gents, I'm now pleased to welcome Mr. Jose Oying Raymond II, the Director of Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population and Reproductive Health, for his welcome greetings, followed by a welcome video. Mr. Oying, please.
Good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to the 5th International Conference on Family Planning, the largest ever. Woo. In behalf of the International Steering Committee, I am so grateful for the support of the Rwandan government, His Excellency President Paul Kagame, Her Excellency First Lady Jeanette Kagame, and of course, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Edouard Nyirenti and the Minister of Health of Rwanda. Without them, ICFP would not have been possible. Thank you very much, Government of Rwanda. So I will cut this short. I also want to acknowledge all the distinguished guests that we have here, so I don't have to mention every single one. We have members of parliament, we have ministers, we have faith leaders, we have heads of NGOs, we have the head of UNFPA, we have the president of the Gates Foundation. I don't have to mention all of them, all protocols observed. Is that an African thing? All protocols observed? I love that, yeah. We have a record-breaking number of family planning champions here in Kigali. We have gathered to show the world how investing in family planning provides a lifetime of returns. Although we are champions of family planning, I bet you we also care a great deal about other issues: gender equity, women's rights, mothers dying, children's dying, poverty, climate change, and many other issues. So, in this gathering, would you agree with me that providing access to contraception has the power to address all of these issues in a significant way? Would you agree with me? Yes. Evidence shows when women have access to contraception, maternal deaths can be cut nearly in half, infant and child deaths can plummet, per capita income rises, and the pace of climate change slows down. Wow. Given this evidence, does that mean that we are more than just champions of family planning? Could we be superheroes because of all the impact of what we do? I believe each and every one of you are unsung heroes in your own ways. You work day and out to protect health, save lives, and improve the well-being of entire communities. I want to welcome you and thank you. You're all superheroes in my book. Let's play the ICFP welcome video. Thank you very much.
Superheroes use their extraordinary powers to protect the public from harm and to help their communities thrive. They are strong, smart, caring, courageous, resourceful, tireless. The International Conference on Family Planning is not only the largest gathering of family planning professionals from across the globe, it's also uniting a community of superheroes. Each of you working in family planning has transformational powers. Because of you, mothers and babies are living longer. Women, girls and boys are planning their futures, and communities and countries are lifting themselves out of poverty. You're tireless in your passion for helping others, and your family planning superpowers collectively form one of the strongest communities in global health.
My family planning superpower is music, and I use it to inspire people.
My family planning superpower is connecting with communities, and I'm using it to make a difference.
My family planning superpower is leadership, and I'm using it to run IY, which breaks barriers for youth advocacy and SRHR.
My family planning superpower is breaking stigma, and I'm using that to encourage men in my community to get more involved in family planning practices and conversations.
Our family planning superpower is advocacy, and we use it to leverage resources
for contraceptive choice,
for
quality services,
for equitable access,
for availability of contraceptives.
You inspire others to become family planning superheroes. Because of you, governments are investing in access to contraceptives and voluntary family planning programs, leading to more educated communities, a healthier population and planet, and wealthier nations. Leaders are committing support to family planning, enabling girls and women, families and communities to build their own paths to prosperity. You use your superpowers to give others the superpower of family planning. Each one of us can be a hero. We can all affect change in the lives of those around us. So what's your superpower?
So what's your superpower? Anyone can guess mine? My family planning superpower is being the MC for this opening ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, the ICFP host institution, came Dean Ellen McKenzie, who is our next speaker. A round of applause for Ellen McKenzie as she comes on the stage.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, and what a wonderful way to start this amazing meeting with such a stirring video and a call to all of us to identify our superpowers. So I will begin by saying my superpower, or I should say our superpower at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health is educating and preparing the next generation of leaders in public health. I feel I should have a pose or something. But I am honored, truly honored and humbled to share the podium with such a distinguished group of accomplished leaders. Your Right Honorable Prime Minister Edouard Nyirente, Minister Gashambo, Her Excellency the First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency the First Lady of Haiti, Dr. Kanem, Honorable Minister Bibo, Minister Gashumbo, ministers overall, parliamentarians, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this warm welcome. I would like to begin by thanking and commending the government of Rwanda for co-hosting the International Conference on Family Planning here in the world-class conference center here in Kigali. Now, I will admit to you that this is my very first ICFP meeting and my first visit to your amazing country. Beyond the natural beauty on display here in Rwanda, I'm inspired by this country's commitment to strengthening the health system through investment in human resources and matching technological innovations to solve difficult public health problems. Rwanda has achieved so very much in advancing equity and increasing access to family planning and maternal health programs for its population. And very importantly, you have demonstrated your commitment to helping other countries overcome similar barriers that you have overcome. And your values align perfectly with the goal of the 5th ICFP, making Rwanda an ideal host for this year's conference. I am delighted to be here at Kigali, and I look forward to spending this exciting week with all of you. I stand in awe of what the global family planning and reproductive health community has accomplished. You all know way better than I that in the first time in history, more than 300 million women are using modern contraceptives. That's 300 million girls and women who now influence their own destiny and the destiny of their children. That is powerful. Please know that your tenacity and vitality inspires public health professionals around the world, including those at the Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. As Dean, I have been thinking a lot about the incredible power of public health. Public health has no borders. It cuts across race, gender, age, and class. Public health touches everyone, and it has the power to drive transformative change in our world. At the Bloomberg School, we believe that the power of public health rests on 5 core principles or pillars. First and foremost, the power of education. We train leaders who can advance the public's health through our academic programs. Second, the power of science, solving the most important public health problems by incubating, accelerating, and translating groundbreaking research. Third, as is so evident here in this room, the power of partnerships, which we build to protect the population's health and advance equity and social justice worldwide. Fourth, the power of people, which we believe fuels creativity and ensures excellence in all we do by cultivating a diverse, inclusive, and nurturing environment. And finally, and very importantly, the power of advocacy, which drives us to continuously and unequivocally communicate and advocate for the value of public health. We do all of this in the service of building up the next generation of public health leaders, the ones who will reshape what we do and, very importantly, how we do it. They will innovate in ways we can only imagine to ensure that we can respond to any new challenge that comes our way. Everywhere I look in this conference, there are young people. I see you as the next generation of family planning and reproductive health leaders. You are showing us that you know what it takes to carry this community to 2030 and well beyond. No one understands better how to meet the needs of young people and tap into their potential than the young people themselves. My hope as I stand here in front of you today is that other schools of public health and public health institutions will continue to stand with this community to support and cultivate these young leaders and to support the bold vision of this conference. Together, we can harness the power of education and science, the power of partnerships and people, and the power of advocacy to move the needle on the world's most pressing public health challenges. If we can do that together, I am certain we can unleash the fullest power of public health. We can and we will protect health and save lives, millions at a time. Thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you throughout the conference. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Dean Ellen McKenzie. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now happy to introduce a video from the Right Honorable Penny Mordaunt, the Secretary of State for International Development in the UK, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today. A warm welcome to the Right Honorable Penny Mordaunt.
I'd like to start by saying a huge thank you to all of you. Voluntary family planning is transformational. It allows women and girls to decide for themselves whether and when to have children, and it gives women control over their own bodies and their own lives. It has the power to change development trajectories of whole countries, and it's one of the best buys a country can make for its future. And you have all been working tirelessly to make this a reality, so thank you. Here in the UK, we have redoubled our own efforts. We were proud to host last year's Family Planning Summit, along with our partners at UNFPA and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. At the summit, so many of you stepped up once again and made new commitments. And 1 year on, it's so exciting to see those commitments translating into real change in the lives of women and girls. At our summit, the UK committed to spend an extra $225 million a year over the next 5 years so that we can build on our pioneering family planning work. And our Prime Minister, on her recent visit to Kenya, announced a new flagship reproductive health programme worth £200 million. This will ensure that 6 million couples in 27 countries in Africa and Asia are able to use voluntary modern contraception in every year of that programme. And it will reach previously unreached people, especially adolescents and poorer women. We are delighted that the lead implementing partners for this programme will be Mary Stopes International and the International Planned Parenthood Federation, who have been at the forefront of global efforts to secure sexual and reproductive health rights for all. The UK's commitment to family planning is not just about funding, it's also about the values that we stand behind. And that's why we will continue to take a rights-based approach and make the case that a woman's choices are her own to make. We will continue to do what the evidence tells us what works, even when that is the most difficult option. And we will continue to situate family planning as one pillar of our broader support to comprehensive sexual and reproductive health and rights. I wish you all a fantastic and inspiring conference this week. I'm sorry I cannot be with you, but the UK remains firmly committed, and we will continue to champion what we have long known: family planning transforms lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'm pleased to invite Dr. Natalia Kanem, the United Nations Under-Secretary General and the UNFPA Executive Director, for her remarks. Dr. Natalia Kanem, please.
Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Rwanda, Your Excellency, the First Lady of Rwanda, Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Diane, Honorable Minister Bibo of Canada, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, parliamentarians, and senators from across the world, Dr. Chris Elias, Dr. Dean Ellen McKenzie, Dr. Oying, colleagues, friends, partners, Miriwe, good afternoon. I greet you in the name of peace. Peace is the noble purpose of the United Nations, and it is an aspiration that we all share. I want to add my thanks to our hosts, the government of Rwanda, and the Gates Institute for Population and Reproductive Health of the Johns Hopkins University for bringing us together. UNFPA is so proud to be a co-organizer of this gathering, and there are so many champions of choice here in this auditorium today, including young people from across Africa and from across every corner of the globe. We are united. We're united in the understanding that choice can change the world. And I believe that when we provide, especially adolescent girls and women, with the information and the vital services that they need to exercise their basic human right to decide if, when, how, and how often to have children, we are investing in a lifetime of returns. So, UNFPA's superpower, to me, it's our experts in 150 countries and territories around the planet who are passionate about the power of choice. It's good for the individual, it's good for the family, it's good for countries. So I wonder, why is it that so many women and girls still have so few choices? Must they choose between contraception and other basic needs? How do we work together to achieve sustainable financing for family planning for the 200 million plus women and adolescents who want access? The world's 1.8 billion young people are waiting for an answer to these questions. Critical investments in their sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights is part of that path to a healthy, productive, secure future that can be blocked. Like my friend Sandrine, who comes from Rubavu district here in Rwanda. She became pregnant at 16. She was forced to drop out of school. And without any means of support, she was beginning to lose hope. And her path could have been blocked without the rescue that came from the Imbuto Foundation, founded by the First Lady, Mrs. Jeanette Kagame. Sandrine received counseling. She received services. She received the skills that got her life back on track. And today, she is somebody who speaks to other young women about the importance of staying in school and avoiding teen pregnancy. And she tells them where they can go for vital information and services, accurate information, where every adolescent girl and woman has the knowledge and the power to make her own decisions in life. Societies thrive and prosper, and the time to act is now. I think the good news is And we heard this from Dr. Oying. This is the biggest meeting ever because as societies, we understand that we've got to accelerate progress. That's what rescues the girl and the nation. And as of July 2018, the total number of women and girls using a modern method of contraception was higher than ever before in history. And in the poorest 69 countries in the world, we took a leap forward. Access for that 317 million women and girls, which is 30% more than would have been there if we hadn't had a united community strategizing, planning, and using evidence to move forward. And more than half of those additional users live in Asia. This includes 4 of the 5 most populous FP 2020 countries. And the pace and the percentage of women using modern contraception is fastest here in Africa. 24% of African women of reproductive age are using a modern method of their choice, with the fastest growth right here in Eastern and Southern Africa. That shows the power of country-led partnership and of leadership. And definitely, it shows the power of evidence and data. Still not fast enough to reach our additional goal of 120 million women and girls. And it's my biggest worry as the head of UNFPA. We still have a long way to go to bring this life-saving modern contraception of her choice to every woman and girl who wants it, no matter where she is or who she is. So it's time for us to pick up the pace. Rights and choices. Right now, especially teenage girls are waiting. Will she have the access brought to her remote village? Will she have correct information told to her so she can understand her body? Or will she be like Sandrine was at that time when she had no knowledge, or the knowledge comes too little too late? Quality, youth-friendly services, including contraception, available in communities for millions of girls. That's part of the answer. And so therefore, let us step forward with purpose. Let us learn from each other during this week. Let us build on the progress that we've made to strengthen and to expand our partnerships and to keep moving ahead, to keep moving forward until we reach our goal, which is nothing short of universal access. Choice that can change the world. Let's make that reality of choice a reality everywhere so that we truly invest in a lifetime of returns. Thank you so much. All the best.
How about another round of applause for Dr. Kandem? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now honored to invite Dr. Chris Elias, the president of the Global Development Program at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, for his remarks.
Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister, Your Excellency, the First Lady, ministers, friends, colleagues, all protocols observed. I want to begin by thanking the government of Rwanda for hosting the conference. Rwanda's commitment to improving the health of the people of Rwanda and its efforts to advance issues like family planning are an inspiration to us all, and indeed an incredible exemplar that other countries and regions can look to. In recent years, the growth of contraceptive use in Rwanda has reached an impressive 50%, currently meeting more than 65% of the unmet need. But there's still work to be done. So at the Gates Foundation, at the request of the Ministry of Health, we're excited to partner with the government of Rwanda to help break through the remaining barriers to further progress. These moments, these conferences, are an important time for us to come together as a community because they send a powerful message to the world that if you invest in women and girls, if you empower youth, and if you invest in family planning, you will get a lifetime of returns. As you know, Melinda Gates is a passionate and committed champion of this work. She was disappointed to not be able to join us here in Kigali this year, but asked me to reiterate to all of you how proud she is of this movement, the movement of this group, to put family planning back on the global agenda, and especially as we approach 2020, how important the work we do and how much it matters. Melinda has traveled this year to many donor and partner countries to advocate as part of this movement, and she tells us regularly about the energy she derives from the interactions with so many of you. Some of you were with us last week in Oslo for the replenishment conference for the Global Finance Facility, where we raised over $1 billion for the Every Woman, Every Child, Every Adolescent strategy of the United Nations. Rwanda is one of 11 new countries that are developing investment cases for the Global Financing Facility, trying to move this agenda forward. At this point, I have the opportunity of showing you another superhero video. This one about 3 superheroes who know a thing or two about investing. This summer at our headquarters in Seattle, Warren Buffett sat down with Melinda and Bill, and they had a conversation about how important family planning was, and they asked me to share it with you.
Early on, when Bill and I started to look at this work, one of the very first things that came up was family planning. And I certainly never expected to go public with the fact that, we use contraceptives and, but it's no secret. I mean, our kids are spaced 3 years apart. We thought that would be good spacing. We also talked about, before we got married, how many kids we'd ideally like to have. I mean, that is, I think, one of the most personal conversations you can have.
Yeah, Melinda, it isn't my decision to make. It isn't the government's decision to make. It's the woman. I mean, and forever, women really have been locked in to a certain place in society that may have been determined by somebody else, and they really should decide it themselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how the invention of the pill started to get society thinking about women's role in a different way. Giving women these choices and family these choices will often let them invest more in the kids that they do have. And while those are individual choices, it can make a huge difference for an entire society, that you have a generation that comes along and their health and education is much better than the generation before. And that's why so many countries have moved up to middle income and self-sufficiency. Letting women have control is certainly an element of that magic advances.
We know if you give women a basket of choices, they use different types of contraceptives depending on where they are in their lives and what they need. And we know from every society around the world, it only takes one generation, but you have to have that basket so that women can make the choices that are appropriate for their family at the right time. And they should have that choice.
Bill, you and I would not have liked not having freedom of choice about what we did with our lives. We did not want it to be dictated by somebody else or by limitations that society had imposed upon us. And I was lucky in 1930 when I was born male. I had a better opportunity than my sisters, who are equally better citizens and smarter, had way better personalities than I have. And they simply didn't have it. And we've got to be beyond that. And 3.5 billion people depend on it.
Young people, if they can plan, if and when they want to have their kids, it means that they can get an education and then take the job that they want to have in society. And so we know so many girls drop out of school. They are basically at the primary level, they get educated at about the same rate as boys. But once they get into high school, they drop out because of all kinds of reasons, like being married off young, like being expected to have a child as soon as they get married, like getting pregnant in high school. But if they can stay in high school and then go on to college, they can live their dreams. They have a chance of getting a productive job in society, creating a new company if they want. And so it literally unlocks a cycle of poverty for young people. And I think that is so fundamental. It's fundamental in Africa. These young people can be productive and can help economies raise up and do what they want.
Things are better in 2018 than they were 100 years ago, but we don't want to wait another 100 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to accelerate that change.
Keep it moving.
Yeah. My dream in my lifetime is universal access to family planning, that all women have access.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to another set of superheroes. I personally am very happy to be here this week as well, mostly to see so many old friends and colleagues, but also because I think we're at a moment of inflection. Nearly a decade ago, in 2009, when we gathered as a family planning community for the first time in nearly 15 years in Kampala, Uganda, to mark the first international conference on family planning, we've made since then an impressive set of progress. You've heard about much of it. Today, for the first time, over 300 million women, 317 million women specifically in the poorest countries are using a method of contraception, a modern method of contraception. And yet, there's still an estimated 214 million women who say they want to prevent or delay pregnancy, but don't currently have access to voluntary effective contraceptive methods to do that. Now, let's not forget that incremental progress over time adds up to big results, and we should be proud of what we've accomplished together. That said, the data from the latest FP 2020 report, which we're launching this week, show that we're not going to meet our family planning 2020 commitment of 120 new users on time. So our job is far from done, because the FP 2020 goal is still a critical milestone. It's a milestone on the way to universal access, which the global community agreed we should try to achieve by 2030. 2030 is just 12 years from now, or as someone pointed out to me recently, just over 4,000 days. And so, in the decade ahead, the pace of societal, political, and technological change will continue to accelerate. We need to help it accelerate. To keep the family planning promise to millions of women, girls, and couples, we're going to need to think differently. So let's take the time this week to consider, what is it in this moment? How do we go beyond our linear thinking and be disruptive? I think the 600 youth representatives will help us with that. And so I look forward to the discussions this week, the breakout sessions, and the conversations to see how we can bend the curve and get ourselves on track for universal access by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chris Elias. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome Honorable Marie-Claude Bibeau, the Minister of International Development in Canada. Ladies and gents, Honorable Marie-Claude Bibeau.
Président, Premier Ministre, Première Dame du Rwanda, Première Dame d'Haïti, dear colleagues, friends, all protocol observed, young leaders, thank you. Parliamentarians from around the world recently gathered in Ottawa when Canada hosted the 7th International Parliamentarians Conference on the implementation of the Population and Development Program of Action. They affirmed our strong conviction that sexual and reproductive rights are human rights. A few minutes ago, we all celebrated our superpowers as investors in family planning. While it's important to celebrate our collective efforts, in my view, the true superpower lies in the unlocked potential of the world's women and girls, when they are empowered to make informed choices about their bodies and lives, when they can choose whether, when, and with whom to have children, and how many, and when they are treated with dignity and respect they deserve, women and girls are forces to be reckoned with. They can and will create positive change that transforms families, communities, nations, the world. While half of the world's population is held back, we cannot hope to build the better world that the Sustainable Development Goals envision. The good news is that we are making progress. As we just heard from Dr. Elias, millions more women have full, free, and voluntary access to modern methods of contraception. We are using new approaches that reach more women and girls. We have better data to guide our investments. We are leveraging more resources. And, close to my heart, we are doing a better job of providing information and services to the most vulnerable adolescent girls and women living in crisis settings. In Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh, I met with Rohingya women who told me shocking stories of systematic rape with devastating consequences. These women desperately need access to sexual and reproductive health services, psychosocial support, and safe spaces where they can begin to heal and thrive. C'est un engagement du Canada. Notre politique féministe d'aide internationale place les femmes et les filles au centre de toutes nos actions. Elles sont les mieux placées pour connaître leurs besoins et nous devons les écouter. Canada is committed to this. Our Feminist International Assistance policy puts women and girls front and center in everything that we do. They know best what they need. We must listen to them. Nothing about them without them. This conference is an opportunity for us to learn from each other, to challenge and inspire each other, and to build momentum. Let's seize it. Let's look at family planning in the broader context of SRHR and tackle issues like child early and forced marriage and sexual and gender-based violence. Let's support advocacy movements like She Decides. Let's engage men and boys to stand up for what is right and become champions for women and girls' rights. Let's be bold and creative with initiatives like Options, for example. It is an innovative, safe abortion initiative led by Grand Challenges Canada, a valued partner of the Government of Canada and a leader in global health innovation. Options will put women and girls in control of where, when, and how they terminate in a safe manner an unwanted pregnancy, in most cases caused by gender-based violence. And finally, let's all use our collective superpowers to make sure every pregnancy is wanted, every birth is safe, and every woman and girl is treated with dignity and respect. I look forward to see you all in June in Vancouver, Canada, for the Women Deliver Conference.
Thank you, Honorable. Ladies and gentlemen, due to conflicting work commitments, the World Health Organization Director, Dr. Tedros, couldn't be with us today, but he's going to share with us his wishes and hopes as far as family planning is concerned through a video. Let's follow Dr. Tedros.
Your Excellency, President Paul Kagame, Your Excellency, First Lady Janet Kagame, Your Excellency Penny Mordaunt, Dr. Natalia Kanem, my colleague, Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. First of all, I would like to say Amakuru and Muraho. Thank you for the invitation to speak to you today, and I'm really, really sorry I can't be with you in Kigali, although that's where I would have loved to be. I can't think of a better place to hold this very important conference than Rwanda. Strong political commitment by the government has increased the use of family planning services dramatically in recent years. Rwanda is a great example for the rest of the world to follow. Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership and commitment. We are all united in our belief that every woman has the right to choose whether, when, and with whom to have a baby. But as you know, 214 million women in low and middle income countries who want to avoid pregnancy are not using a modern contraceptive method. To reach the SDG health targets on family planning, we must all do more, better, and faster. Fragmentation, duplication, and inefficiency are undermining our progress. Recently, 11 international health agencies signed the Global Action Plan on Healthy Lives and Well-being, an unprecedented commitment to accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Universal health coverage, based on strong health systems and people-centered primary care, is the best way to ensure women get the services they need and are empowered to make their own decisions. Community health workers play a key role. WHO's new guidelines on community health workers are a valuable tool for integrating them into health systems and communities and for delivering family planning services. Thank you for your commitment to this important issue, and WHO stands ready to work with all of you for a healthier, safer, fairer world. Murakoze Chane. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now happy to introduce another family planning superhero, youth activist, trainer, and advocate of youth rights in Bangladesh. That is none other than Sadia Rahman. You're welcome.
Honorable Prime Minister of Rwanda, Your Excellencies, Minister of Health from different countries, representative of youth and development organizations, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and wow, I'm so privileged and honored to share this evening with all of you, and especially with these incredibly amazing young people that are present here today. It is my exceptional honor to represent them, and in some small way, to represent the 1.8 billion young people in the world. I come from a society that prizes sons over daughters. My family thought investing in my education was a waste of money. I had aunts and uncles visited my home and told my parents, she will marry anyway. What difference does her education make? I protested. I remember I said, Mahatma Gandhi had 5 sons. Who remembers them? But Nehru had 1 daughter, and she changed the face of India. Eventually, I started to afford my own education, and today I'm here at the opening plenary of ICFP 2018 and a part of 69 country coordinators of International Youth Alliance for Family Planning. If you are a part of IY, please stand up. If you were a part of IY, please stand up. Please show your faces. IYFP is working to secure family planning, health, and rights for the 1.8 billion young people in the world. But what does family planning mean for people my age, when for many of us, planning our families is on the distant horizons? For us, family planning is not only about contraception. Family planning is a matter of lifestyle, choice, achievement, and privilege. Family planning is about autonomy over our bodies, and it is about the freedom of choice to control our reproductive health. When talking about freedom of choice, I recall a 16-year-old girl, Afrin, who I met in the course of my work with Sirak in Bangladesh. When she was pregnant before our marriage, she wanted to have an abortion. When they learned she was pregnant, Afrin was brutally beaten by her family. Her partner worked out leaving her alone. All alone, Afrin went by herself to a core clinic and had an abortion which resulted in full-blown sepsis. I wanted to meet her for her consent to share her story before coming here. But unfortunately, Afrin had died from her infection. Does Afrin or thousands of girls like her really deserve this kind of death? Did she deserve to be beaten by her family? Rejected by her partner or denied contraception so she wouldn't get pregnant in the first place? Today, I am the voice for Afrin, who can't tell her own story, but the answer is clear and resounding. No, no, and no, ladies and gentlemen. She and every other young person in the world have the right to access trusted health facilities, to get accurate information and services, and not to die because of denied contraception. Every individual must have the right to decide whom to love, when to marry, how many children to have, and if any at all. Youth should be reached through non-traditional, innovative, and effective ways. Addressing this, my organization, CIRAC Bangladesh, has developed a mobile app on abortion stigma prevention to help young people get accurate information about safe and trusted health facilities in a fun but effective way. Sexual and reproductive rights are intertwined with economic, social, cultural, and political rights. Whether it is child marriage, gender inequality, climate change, or migration, all of the issues are connected. The country I come from is beautiful Bangladesh, the largest humanitarian site in the world of today. We opened our hearts to the world's most persecuted community, Rohingya people, when around 1.3 million fled into Bangladesh from Myanmar. Anwara is one of them. 17-year-old Anwara arrived at Balukhali camp in Cox's Bazar after a narrow escape from Myanmar following a torturous 5 days long restless journey with her only 7-year-old daughter in her arms. She did not know where her husband was and struggled with her post-pregnancy recovery without any help. Because the medical centers in camp had long queue to serve hundreds and thousands at a time, and she could not stand and wait for help. As a consequence, she got none. But initiatives taken by Bangladesh government with the support of UNFPA and many other development partners have ensured family planning services are available in all of the camps, following the solutions proposed by Bangladeshi Prime Minister at the UN General Assembly. However, there are millions of young people like Anwara without any access to information, services, or a life free from violence. Around the world, I speak to you this evening as a voice for these young people. For many in the room tonight, the Sustainable Development Goals are lofty words. But can you see the young people whose lives are affected by these goals? Afrin was one of them, so too Anwara. The Sustainable Development Goals will only be successful when we can connect them to individual lives. We cannot achieve the agenda for family planning unless we realize the importance of sexual and reproductive health in its totality. That is why I am here, but that is why you are here too. We young people are here not as the future, but as the present. And we are here to join hands with all of you who will work with us to secure our reproductive life and rights for a better future. We young people have the right to change the world. And when we get invested, we make sure that investment is not a waste. Rather, it is returned with a lifetime of returns. To the politicians and government in the room, I say, engage with us. To the donors in the room, I say, invest in us. To the NGOs in the room, I say, work with us so that together we can assure that all young people around the world can have a future that many are denied till today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sania. Myself, I feel inspired. Ladies and gentlemen, efforts and investments made in family planning should definitely be recognized and celebrated. With that, I'll humbly request Mr. Jose Oying Rimon II to come and announce the Global Humanitarian Award winner. Mr. Jose, you're welcome.
Okay, before I announce our Global Humanitarian Award, let me wear my superhero mask. There will be more outside when you go to the reception. The Global Humanitarian Award recognizes and honors individuals who have shown exemplary leadership and vision through contributions of private wealth to support women's health, especially in the area of family planning. The Packard family's generous support to advance family planning and reproductive health for more than 5 decades has led to incredible returns for some of the highest need countries, improving the quality of life and alleviating human suffering globally. Susan Packard Orr's leadership and the Packard Foundation's investments, totaling $1 billion in grants and $20 million in mission investments since 1964. It has contributed to doubling the modern contraceptive use in Ethiopia over the past 2 decades. It has supported the education campaign, which led to the reproductive health law in the Philippines, which guarantees universal access to contraception, sexuality education, and maternal care. It has contributed to shifting of social norms around marriage, childbirth, and contraceptive use among young girls in Bihar and India. It does pioneering work to ensure that all women and girls have access to quality family planning and reproductive health care in some of the most difficult, underserved places in the world. These are just a few reasons why Susan Packard Orr is being honored the Global Humanitarian Award. May I call on Susan Packard Orr, represented by Carol Larson, the president of Packard Foundation, to accept and offer her remarks.
Thank you so much, Oying. I am so delighted to be able to represent Susan Packard Orr in this wonderful recognition. She wishes so much that she could be here, and it's my good fortune that I get to stand here in front of you. I do want to say my thanks to the Right Honorable Prime Minister and the First Lady Kagame, particularly all of our hosts from Rwanda. This morning, I was with Imbuto at a health clinic, seeing firsthand some of the special efforts this country is making on behalf of youth and creating youth-friendly services. When I was there, one of Mbuto's deputies said to me, when you come to Rwanda for the first time and you spend just 1 hour here, you are already at home. And I want to thank you on behalf of Susan and all of us from the Packard Foundation for making us feel so much at home. Susan was the chair of our board at the Packard Foundation for 22 years. She has been all of her life an advocate for sexual reproductive health and rights. She used in that position not only the resources that her father and mother, Dave and Lucille Packard, left to her and the family and the foundation, but she also used her voice, her time, her energy, her leadership to keep us focused on a very fundamental vision that every person, every man and woman, every child, boy and girl deserve quality sex education, quality family planning services, including access to safe and legal abortion. As chair, she's kept our focus on that vision, but she also kept her focus on a set of values about how donors should interact and hope to aspire to interact with grantees and with leaders in countries such as Rwanda. Those values were respect, belief in your leadership, and a mutual commitment to effectiveness. Susan wanted to use her voice, and I recommend that you read her op-ed piece in the magazine, Impact, that was in your portfolio that PSI produced, in which she talks about the power of youth, the importance of listening to them, the importance of #DemandQuality, the importance also of giving space for the leadership of the next generation. This award that you've given to Susan is called the Global Humanitarian Award. It is to recognize country level and global your voice, your time and energy. So on behalf of Susan, we congratulate you on your humanitarian award for your leadership at the local level, at the state level, and in your organizations. The motto for this conference is investing for a lifetime of returns. That investment of personal time, energy, leadership, voice, and yes, your superhero powers does provide you, as it has provided Susan and myself, with a lifetime of returns. Thank you so much for recognizing Susan's leadership and for this tremendous gathering and for our mutual commitment to getting to that place of vision where every man and woman have access to full sexual reproductive health and rights. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now humbly request the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, to come up on stage to confer the award. Alongside, yes, thank you. Alongside with Dr. Chris Elias, Dr. Natalia Kanem, Honorable Minister, Dr. Diane Gashumba, Dean Ellen Mackenzie, Honorable Minister Marie-Claude Bibeau, Mr. Oying, and Sadia Rahman to congratulate the winner and take a group photo. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we will have the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Rwanda, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, come up for his remarks. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency, the First Lady of Republic of Haiti, honorable ministers, head and representative of international agencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, I am very delighted to join you all at the official opening of this 5th International Conference on Family Planning that is taking place here in Kigali City. Our President wished to personally attend this important conference, but was unable due to other commitments. I wish to warmly welcome you to Rwanda. And I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has played a role in the organization of this international conference. I would like to thank you, Your Excellency, Madame Jeannette Kagame, First Lady of Rwanda, for your presence in this event. This is a living testimony of your commitment and passion toward the improvement of the health sector and social development in general. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a number of studies have indicated that family planning programs have a positive impact on economic development. There is a strong support that family planning is one of the most cost-effective ways of enhancing the well-being of the people in all countries. We all converge to the fact that quality family planning services are a strong means of improving the lives of women, children, and families. Family planning is therefore not only a women issue, it is also a development issue. It affects all of us. Moreover, as leaders, we need to be mindful that family planning alone will not address all development issues. We have seen cases of countries with big population and low poverty levels, and the others with small population with a high level of poverty. Our challenges as leaders is to keep implementing other development policies that complement family planning programs, bearing in mind that quality population is also an economic asset. Some of these factors to complement family planning would include, but not limited to, better planning, good governance, good attitude toward work, human capital development, and especially early childhood development programs. These kind of programs are kind of comprehensive approach meant for children from birth to 8 years old, their parents and caregivers. The ECD programs help children to develop their full cognitive and emotional, social and physical potential. As you all know, the main element of the World Health Organization definition of family planning are to attain a desired number of children and spacing and timing of birth. This means to plan for our families, which has to be an integral part of national planning for sustainable development. In this regard, we need to build a society in which each family has the right to send each of their children to school, for each child to access health care, for each child to reach a greater prosperity for generations to come. Purposeful family planning, the right for each couple to choose when they are ready to start a family and bring a child into a safe, healthy, and prosperous world, is a tool which enables each of us to achieve this dignified life for all of our people. As we know, the African continent is very youthful, with 406 million young people aged between 15 and 34, and 486 million children aged between 0 and 14 years, according to UN population estimates. The population is projected to reach 2.4 billion by 2050. In 32 African countries, more than 40% of their population is below 50 years old. Similarly, some 11 million youth are expected to enter African labor market every year for the next decade, as per the World Bank Group. By 2070, it is projected that Africa will have over 1 billion working-age youth and over 800 million children. The biggest challenges facing African leaders today is how to harness our youthful population into agents of sustainable development. Investment in young people in human capital in general can enable us to harness as a demographic dividend across our continent. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in Rwanda, various initiatives to support purposeful family planning programs are being implemented, and some achievements have been registered over the past decade. As a result, today we are a population that has increased our pediatric vaccination rate to over 90%, leaving no child behind and unprotected in the face of illness. Since 2000, our infant and child mortality rates have decreased by 70%. Therefore, as a nation, we have gained a great benefit from our investment in health and childhood development. This is a result of investment in safer environments and care during pregnancy and beyond. With 16% of our national budget allocated to our population's health, far surpassing our Abuja Declaration, we take the health and well-being of our people very seriously, as we see it as an investment in the security of our livelihood, not only for today, but also for the future. Today, our children have access to basic education throughout the country, offering each child the opportunity to dream and develop into a leader of tomorrow. Because of this investment in quality of life, in creating an environment of health and development and wealth for all, our life expectancy in Rwanda has increased. Today, a person born in Rwanda has the opportunity to reach more than 66 years. Other initiatives include the availability of family planning services in all villages, expansion of existing information and dissemination programs about family planning to the general public, introduction of long-lasting contraceptive methods in all healthcare facilities. Our target is to increase contraceptive prevalence to at least 60% by 2024, as reflected in our National Strategy for Transformation 2017-2024. To achieve these targets, the government of Rwanda has put in place different strategies, including increase of the budget allocation to the health sector, currently at least 16%, which already surpassed the Abuja declaration, the declaration of 2001. Establishment of National Early Childhood Development Program that focuses on issues of stunting, malnutrition, early childhood education, sanitation, and hygiene, with a special attention on outcome for infants during the first 1,000 days of life. There's also establishment of a community-based health insurance, Mutuelle de Santé, across the country. Today, 90% of our population benefit from this scheme. There's also empowerment of women to become more economically productive, which resulted into tremendous reduction of women who are financially excluded from 32% in 2012 to 13% in 2016, according to FinScope report of 2016. Increasing female enrollment in all levels of our education system, which is currently at 50%. There's also ensuring equality between men and women in public services. Our Constitution provides that women occupy at least 30% of position in decision-making organs. In this regard, women represent 50% in the current cabinet and 61% in the parliament. Distinguished delegates, Rwanda fully understands implementing all programs related to family planning is to invest for lifetime of returns. We look forward to learning a lot from this conference on how we can better use family planning as an instrument for economic development. I wish to especially urge participants to this conference to share experience, best practices, and propose concrete action to improve future family planning. Before I conclude, I would like to thank once again organizers of this conference and all of you participants. On this note, I wish to announce the 50th International Conference on Family Planning officially open. I thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that translates that we should use the hashtags, take selfies, and tell the whole world that the 5th ICFP just begun. Thank you very much. Quoting a Rwandan saying, akaryoshye ntigahora. Yes. Translating, any event, no matter how good it is, just have to end. It's very unfortunate, right? This was an exciting event, right? No. Was it exciting? Yes. Let's keep the momentum going as we welcome our very own troupe, Inganzongari, for their anticipated performance to close the opening ceremony in style. Before that, though, be reminded that at the end of the performance, we will all remain seated as the guest of honor and all the VIPs are escorted to the lounge, and the rest of us are invited as well to go grab bites and drinks offered by the government of Rwanda. If you have yet to explore the ground of the convention center, that's your opportunity as well. Visit the exhibition area, chat with your new friends, and of course, we have here a booth downstairs that will help you navigate our beautiful country if you need to. And please, after the performance, as we all head out, be back in 30 minutes to enjoy a live band. And then that will be the beginning of the welcome ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, some noise for Inganzo Ngari.
uraho Rwanda rwacu uraho Rwanda nziza ye uraho urwatubyaye uraho urwagasabo urw'amata bateza adatemba n'urw'amata meza avuna imitozo ni kaminuza nawe ibwana cyambwe hari kapitari uraho Rwanda rwacu uraho Rwanda nziza Rwanda uraho
twisangira umwari umwaga wariboye ingabo yashinzwe inkiko atazicwa
n'irunguye muri abo banga kurutwa abakobwa b'iwacu mwambare burakeye maze mwigire mugeze igitaramo kurutwa
icyo ngaho tubwire icyo baguhaye usibe
kutubwira icyo bagukoreye muri aba banga kurutwa abakobwa b'iwacu mwambare burakeye maze wigire gitaramo kurutwa abakobwa b'iwacu mwambare burakeye maze wigire hino mukesi igitaramo murawabanga kurutwa abakobwa b'iwacu mwambare burakeye maze wigire hino mukesi igitaramo murawabanga kurutwa umutanazira mufate kwihita bazatsinda barusakira imbanyi nk'uwikaraganye abasumuruzi senyamihirwa mwe
ushinjagire gitore Rwanda ubwiza bwawe bukugira rwema rwawe uruje amahanga
komeza imihigo
yego Rwanda we
komeza imihigo Rwanda yacu anyeberendera ikirenga uburenganzira mishinambwe twese abana bawe turagukunda
y'umuco mwiza n'igicumbi cy'umugisha ishyano umutuzo n'umurage wahawe ye nyaguhorana ingabo itwaba wabyaye tuzagutaka ubwiza yego Rwanda we turagutuye ishyaka n'umuco mwiza n'isaro rigutangatse rwemeza abahizi urimo intwari n'amahanga arabizi yego Rwanda we
uhamye ibirindiro b'ikirenga uringanje ihamije intambwe twese abana bawe.
Ladies and gents, ladies and gentlemen, this is just one in a million exciting things that we have for you. Are you happy for this performance? Right Honorable Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, First Ladies, distinguished guests, all protocol observed, ladies and gents, thank you all for coming. We've been very happy to have you for this opening ceremony. Enjoy the rest of the conference and stay in Rwanda, but please be seated as the guest of honor leaves the hall. How about we now rise as they leave with a very big round of applause. Thank you very much. Don't forget to be here in the next 40 minutes for the beginning of our ceremony. Thank you very much.